Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendez. Hope you guys are all good on your Sunday morning. On today's show, we will be looking back at the victory that takes the Addicts that step closer to championship safety. 1-0 win over Birmingham City at the Valley yesterday. The goal scored by Charlie Kelman. Charlton now in a very, very healthy position, 9 points clear with 10 games left to go. Joining me to look back at that game and, of course, ahead to Wednesday's trip up to Middlesbrough. First up, top right, is Nathan Muller. How you doing, Nath?
Yeah, living the dream, mate. Good win, wasn't it? Nice little win there against Jasper Carrott's Birmingham. But private joke. It was in the green room. But yeah, no, big win, mate.
Yeah, Jasper Carrott. It'd be fuming. It'd be raging. I assume. I missed that joke, so I'm excited to be filled in on what that was. Also, bottom of the screen there is Benji Cloak. Big fan of Jasper Carrott, Ben.
Yeah, well, again, in the green room when you were missing, we were saying about that famous moment he had in that Golden Balls TV program where that woman chose to steal. But anyway, anyway, back to the football. Yeah, I kind of feel like a bit of deja vu. Very similar to our home game against them last year, wasn't it? Long throw, poacher's goal, 1-0 win.
Yeah,
happy days.
Right, kicking the golden balls for Jasper Carrott as well. So there we go. So on today's show, we'll look back at the game. We're going to hear the goal from Charlton TV. We're going to hear from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones. We're going to hear, of course, from the goal scorer, Charlie Kelman, as well. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know your thoughts on yesterday's victory. You can email us studio@charltonlive.co.uk. You can tweet us at Charlton Live, or you can go into the live chat and add a comment like plenty of you have already done so far. Gary said it was a massive 3 points and everybody put in a shift, and Sam said similar. Fantastic 3 points. Brilliant performance from the lads yesterday. So yeah, give us your views on the game, on where you think we are now in the championship. You feel like we're nearly there, and if you've got any comments you'd like to make about Jasper Carrott, feel free to do so in the chat as well. Before we hear the goal, Nathan, massive win. I mean, I feel like we are right on the verge now of securing our championship safety. I mean, an interesting point is that we're now on 44 points, which is the average needed over the last 12 years to stay up. It will be higher this year, but it goes to show that 10 games to go, we've got to a situation where in most years you'd be able to stay up. I mean, that's pretty tasty, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a little bit of drop in form, I suppose, in terms of the Portsmouth game where we didn't play as well as we can, and sort of the West Brom, but we've managed to get through it. And I think before the game yesterday, a lot of people were feeling fairly confident. I mean, I thought a draw would be, but I seem to say that every week now because I don't think we're going to blow teams away in terms of goal scoring. But yeah, I thought it was just an efficient performance. A bit disappointed with Birmingham, I'll be honest. I mean, I've done a little bit in the second half. They didn't really. I was expecting a little bit more from them, I'll be honest, but doesn't matter. We take the 3 points, and as you say, I think we've got some winnable games coming up. And I mean, if we do go down now, we'd have to hit a really poor run of form to go down. But yeah, we're not singing and dancing yet, but we're on our way there, hopefully.
Yeah, they were dreadful, weren't they, Birmingham City? Jasper Carrott must condemn. I think his silence so far speaks 1,000 words. Liam says, Carrott versus Cooley, who's the better-looking bald man? Well, that's a debate for another day. Let's have a listen back to the goal from Charlton TV yesterday. Brownie was alongside Greg and Tell.
12 yards away from the corner flag. Carey sends it into the penalty area. Dykes with a flick on. Just bouncing around that penalty area. And Kelman bring it down. He gets his shot away! And scores! Charlie Kelman! Only been on the pitch a few moments, but he pounced in the penalty area when the ball was bouncing around aimlessly. The first to react, spun and struck the ball beyond Allsop, and Charlton have the lead.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you've got an attacking midfielder marking the centre forward, because that was a terrible attempt to try and make a block, but Kelman's done all he needs to do, wriggle and get yourself half a yard to get the shot away. And because of the proximity, the close proximity to the goal, that he gets that shot away. There's no reaction time for Allsop, and it hits the back of the net before the goalkeeper can move. But in terms of bravery making a block, Dykes has done us a massive favour picking up Kelman from that long throw.
Yeah, there we go. Brownie not too pleased with the defending there from Birmingham City, but he was very pleased with the finish from Charlie Kelman. 16 minutes from time that ensures that we win 1-0 against Blues, second season in a row, second time in a row as well. It's come from a long throw as well. I think Chris Davies really ought to work on defending those in training at some point. All that money and you don't defend long throws, he'll be disappointed with that one. But from our point of view, massive win. I think deserved win. We were clearly the better side. Had the better chances throughout the game. Will Mannion they had one shot on target, and he was so easy that Nathan would have saved it. It was literally that free kick that was from Douche, I think, straight at him. It was one of the most comfortable clean sheets we've had all season because we defended so well, and we got the goal. We win the game, and Ben, we're nearly there now, aren't we? We're nearly there.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to say it too early, do you? Because we don't want to have people put on these podcasts and go, "Cool, look at them boys, they're so confident," and then they've gone down. But yeah, I mean, look at them. I think, what are they, 8 points off the playoffs? And they're basically calling it a day with the playoffs now. And we're 9 points above relegation. And you think we're then banking, if we think that's not enough, you're banking on teams that have been dreadful all season to pull 4 games in a row to win, to overtake you. And you think, realistically, it's not going to happen, is it? And we just look so solid at the back, don't we? Last 2 games, took a wonder strike last week, in my opinion. Very good strike from the edge of the box. But other than that, we didn't give them anything last week. And the same yesterday. I thought defensively we were superb. Lloyd, I mean, I know people have their doubts about Stansfield, and that Douche maybe, but the stats speak for himself. They're 2 good strikers in this league, and Lloyd, Bell, and Ramsey just marked them out of the game yesterday, didn't they? Didn't have a sniff at all. And that was without Cody sitting in front of the back 3. We've kind of given a bit more of attacking role in this side now. Just mightily pleased because we didn't have the clear-cut chances as we did last week. But when we made the chances, we had men in the box and people getting forward trying to make things happen, which obviously in the weeks before, we just haven't had those opportunities, have we? But yeah, no, really pleased. And yeah, having that 9-point gap now is going to be massive because it takes the pressure off a bit going to a big side on Wednesday who are doing very well in the league. And then we can kind of, just takes the pressure off a little bit. And obviously then the big game against Oxford next Saturday, which then doesn't seem to be as big enough a game. But no, they've turned it around, haven't they? It was a performance last week where you go, right, if we do that again against Birmingham, we can win the game. And that's what we've done.
Yeah, and we certainly did. The goal, 16 minutes from time, Nath, as I mentioned, a long throw, just like it was last season against Birmingham at the Valley. This time it was Charlie Kelman in the Matty Godden role. And it's a lovely little finish. His 5th championship goal of the season. As I said, we're going to hear from him later on in the show. But really instinctive finish, just ease that little bit of space. And then it's a rocket beyond Ryan Alsop in the goal. He had no chance to get anywhere near that one.
No, he didn't, to be fair. I mean, come from that range, it's going to be some sort of miraculous, or unless it's straight at him, he's going to save it. But I was happy for Charlie. Yes, I think the last couple of times I've been on here, I've been sort of saying for him to start with Lyndon Dykes. I think he's, other than Matty Goddens, is the only one really who's an instinctive finisher. I think he said in the post-match interview with Charlotte on the pitch where he was saying, he's been disappointed with himself, but he backs himself to score, instinctively. And when he doesn't have to think too much about it, he's usually scoring. So delighted for him. Great to be another set piece. It's fine margins. Like I said at the beginning, we're not going to really trounce teams 3s and 4s. So the small margins in games we need to capitalise on, and we did yesterday. And as Ben's already said, defensively we're really, really good. So delighted for Charlie. That's the impact you want. And yeah, hopefully he can carry that on now. So I think we all want him to do well because we know there's a player in there who's just probably not had a little bit of rub at the green, and his form has been hit and miss. But yeah, delighted for him yesterday.
Yeah, as Dudley says, it was a superb flick on from Lyndon Dykes for the goal. Because it's hit a couple of blokes, I wonder if he's going to get the assist actually for that, because after Lyndon's flicked it on, it's bounced around a little bit. But it was great. It was great play by Lyndon Dykes to get the ball into the middle and a really sort of instinctive finish from Charlie Kelman. It came at a nice time for us as well, Ben, because I think we certainly had the better moments in the first half, but Birmingham were probably having their best spell of the game for about 10-15 minutes in that period in the second half. So it did come at the right time for us. Just when my belief was waning that we were going to go on and get the result. But when you've got the ability to bring on someone like Charlie Kelman, if he's at it and if he gets a chance, which he doesn't have many chances, then you sort of back him to score. You know, he mentions himself in the interview later that maybe he hasn't been at his best over the last couple of weeks, but if you give him a chance inside the 6-yard box or inside the penalty area, more often than not, you expect him to at least hit the target. And you know, as I said, Allsop had absolutely no chance with the way he struck that one.
Yeah, it did come at a good time because when they brought Stansfield and Osman on, they kind of, I wouldn't say it changed the game, because then again, they didn't really have many chances after that, but they just seemed to have a bit more space and a bit more time on the ball. And we were struggling to work out our shape then. I think it messed us up a little bit with that extra man they had, with Stansfield dropping deep, and then Dooch went up front on his own. So yeah, that it did cause us a little bit of problems. I'd say it's the only time when I thought Birmingham were coming into it here, we need to kind of up our game or change it ourselves. And then I think, yeah, when Rankin Costello came on and Kelman came on, it kind of gave us that bit of spark again. And yeah, as Nathan just said, Godden and Charlie Kelman are two strikers you want on the end of chances that we had last week against Wrexham, where you just think that is a poacher's goal. That is a striker's instinct, where right place, right time, to be able to finish these chances off. And unfortunately, TC isn't that kind of striker, as I mentioned last week, but he does a lot to help the side with bringing us up the pitch and taking us forward. Obviously, 2 good passes last week, which for Berry and Dykes, which we fluffed our chances. And you just thought, oh, if a Kelman was in that chance, in that space, you'd bank on him to score, because those are his kind of goals he scored for Orient last year, and the goals we've seen him score for us this season. Blackburn away when it came off the crossbar, the great finish against Oxford on the edge of the box, and yesterday it's just a real striker's finish. And I was so pleased for Dykes yesterday. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday at the game who hadn't been for a little while, and he was kind of like asking how Dykes has been playing, and we just said, well, he just does so much hard work, off the ball, on the ball, winning his flick-ons. It must get so frustrating when no one's on the same wavelength as him. And yesterday, I mean, the effort to kind of, when that throw comes in by Carey, I was sat down that side, you're thinking, how on earth is anyone going to get there for this? And he just runs across, flicks his head, it beats 2 men. And then, yeah, it took the composure from Kelman to just not like take a strike first time. He got it out of his feet and finished it really well. So really pleased for that, because that is the kind of striker we need in those positions. As I said last week, that was our main frustration, just those missed opportunities. And you think if someone has that little bit of confidence to take those chances, and then as Nathan said, we're only winning games 1-0, aren't we? I mean, our last 5 home victories have all been 1-0, so we're not gonna blow teams away, but we just got to take our chances when we get them. Obviously Miles had one towards the end of the game yesterday which he fluffed, but I'm sure with confidence now within this side and the pressure coming off a little bit, that will help. But yeah, massively happy for Lyndon yesterday. He did a little celebration on his own, which of course, well, they gave him a good reception, didn't they, the Birmingham fans? But I'm sure they would have not liked that one from him.
Yeah, so I saw there was a video of him in the tunnel. Someone mentioned it in the chat earlier as well, where he sort of, it felt like he was looking at the away dressing room. If you know the layout of the tunnel, when he was shouting "Come on" really loudly. But yeah, I don't know. He got a really good reception from the away end, because I think now we've got to know him a bit. He's a great character and a great hard worker, and he's all the sort of things that you want to see from your professional footballers. As like you want to see that, obviously, then with what he brings to the game as well, which adds to it. It was only ever going to take 1 goal yesterday because of how well we defended it. At times in that first half, I agree with Ben. I don't think we created quite as many chances as we did last week. The 2 sort of main ones in the first half was when Dykes tried to lob Allsop when he was so far out of his goal for no apparent reason. But it was like we've all, those crossbar challenges they have at half time when most of them don't get off the floor. That was the lob that he tried. It didn't get off the floor. But then the big one really was when TC, who apparently does nothing and never creates anything, laid on a really good chance for Harry Clark, and Clark, who is still yet to get his first Charlton goal, other than the one that he scored that got taken away from him. just took a slightly heavy touch in a good position. I'm still sort of getting into that. Well, it's great he's flocking up in all these positions, and at one point one of these is going to go in, but he's going to be a bit annoyed that he still hasn't scored yet, because that was sort of probably our best chance of the first half, Nath.
Yeah, it probably was. And as you say, he's having a couple of chances now. I reckon when he scores, it might be a sort of Jose Semedo moment where someone puts him on his shoulders and celebrates. Because, he had that chalked off, and he was quite, he had a bit of sense of humour about it. But, so there weren't really a lot of chances, as you say, in the first half. But, I mean, they surprised me in a way, because the Iwato, who was right back, he was more or less like a flat back four in the first half. He didn't really veer away from that right back position, but the second half, when they started turning the screw, he came inside to create an overload in there. And as Benji said, Stansfield dropped deep, and that's where they were getting a lot of the things. So I thought if we could have targeted him with Chambers and TC, I think that's probably where we was going to get our chances, but it just didn't seem to come about. But as we've seen this squad this whole season, and as we've said already before, but we're not going to be creating hundreds of chances, scoring 3s and 4s. So, but we stayed in the game, and as we all know, if we stay in the game and it's 0-0, it takes one moment, which it did yesterday, and this time it fell to us. So last week against Wrexham, it fell to them. We probably should have got more from that game, but we didn't take our chances. Today we took that one chance that mattered, and got the 3 points.
Yeah, so all hell let loose says now we know why Clark was so angry when his goal was chalked off earlier this season. He did sort of say, I remember interviewing him after the Leicester game, he sort of made a joke about that's my one a season gone, and I didn't realise he was being serious with the way it's gone. I mean, I'll be shocked if he doesn't score between now and the end of the season, because he's popped up in so many positions. Like, if you think about James Bree, who was playing in that position, he actually got a couple of goals. Like, our wing backs tend to be in roles where they do have a chance to get into the area and score goals. I think obviously Bree faded away quite a lot after his first couple, but I think Clark will have more chances this season. I really think he's going to take one between now and the end of the season. And overall, he's been a great player for us so far. So we're not slagging him off. He's been very important for us. Defensively, I said he was only ever going to take one goal. So they had their little spell. I think they had the douche free kick, which was on target but comfortable for Mannion. The only other chance was really actually when we're already 1-0 up, when Osman went in on their left and cut in and lifted it over the bar. Probably should have done a bit better with that one, really. But overall, defensively, again, really, really comfortable from us. I mean, we'll talk about Lloyd Jones, because we should be talking about Lloyd Jones for probably 50 minutes of every pod, but because we've become so accustomed to Lloyd Jones being Lloyd Jones, we sort of don't mention him enough now, Ben. But some of his stats yesterday, well, they just felt like they were some of the highest I've seen so far from him in terms of his clearances and his defensive contributions in yesterday's game. And he was just an absolute colossus. So let me just bring up some of these stats, because I just want to share them. So defensively, Lloyd Jones, 24 defensive contributions, including 21 clearances, 17 of which were headed clearances. I mean, those are insane numbers. He won 13 out of his 16 aerial duels and 5 out of his 6 ground duels. So he won 18 duels and lost 4 overall. And all of this is playing with his head taken clean off of his shoulders, don't forget, by that dirty Birmingham player. But Jones is just unbelievable. Rostos saying Jones best centre half in the league, no question. Dom saying Jones is our rock. We tend to take him for granted, and we do, because yesterday was sort of par for the course from him, because he is so good. But I don't know, yesterday his numbers just felt slightly higher, and he was, like I said, he was doing it after that horrible assault on him as well.
Yeah, I think we do take him for granted, to be fair. I think you just don't even think about it, do you? You just any big striker that you think comes down in the Championship to us this season, you just think, that's all right, Lloyd's got him. I mean, we saw it last year when the games got a lot pressurised and tough towards the end of last season, with playing Wickham in the playoffs, and the hype was all about Kone, and Jones just marked him out of the game and he didn't have a sniff. And this season again, you just run out of words, don't you, to say how good he has been. And that's why I would say you just you forget about him as a fan, because you're so assured that he's just going to do his job, just going to make those strikers' lives hell. And we've had some great strikers come down in the last few weeks, i.e. Kiefer Moore as well. It just don't have a sniff against him. He just puts in such good performance. But I also think the three there that we had in at the back with Ramsey one side and Bell the other, I think they've gone underrated as well. I know Ramsey had a few iffy games of late, which you're going to expect. He's a young player that's come from League Two, playing at Harrogate up until the Championship. But I think they all complement each other really well. I think Bell is just so composed on the ball. He's so calm. There's some stuff when we're not used to it as fans. So you're thinking, oh, no, what you're doing, don't. And then he's just like, no, I'm fine. This is what I'm going to do. And he's just been brilliant. I think he's gone massively underrated, Amari Bell. I think he's just adds that just composure and calmness and experience to that team. And then you got Kane, who just out of nowhere produces slide tackles and a little bit of skill yesterday, which I'm sure will be on his Instagram highlight reel. I don't know how he pulled off that skill. That was, very cheeky of him. But yeah, just massively impressed with the defence. And as you said with Lloyd, his stats are up there with the best in the league. Will we keep hold of him? Probably his age is up there. I'm not sure if other Premier League sides would be sniffing around, but yeah, I mean, from League One last season to the Championship, I think he played about 6 games in this league for Luton in the past. He just wouldn't even know there's been a jump up in class for him in 2 different leagues because of the way he's just, taken to it. He's taken to it so well. Wins all the aerial duels. As you said, I don't know how that Priska's not, been sent off. VAR would have definitely sent him off for that yesterday, but again, just carries on with it, picks up knocks, carries on. Just, easily going to win player of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, comfortably. I was looking up some of his other stats earlier today, and there's one for clearances in the division, which if you look at total clearances in the Championship so far this season. I'm just trying to reload it so I can give you the exact number, but he was so far ahead of everyone else in the league. It was actually incredible. So Lloyd Jones has made 374 clearances in the Championship this season, which is the top. And the next person is Matt Clark at Derby on 305. He's got 69 more clearances. He's got 25% more clearances than anyone else. Well, that's that. In fact, that's a third more if you look at that. He's got an unbelievable amount of clearances compared to everyone else. Like, it's absolutely incredible the way he's been going. And like I say, I mean, that challenge from August Prisk yesterday, Nathan, was an absolute disgrace. I mean, I asked Nathan Jones about it, and he was more concentrating on what came after, because Prisk could have gone right at the start of the second half when there was two or three more, not as bad, but aerial challenges with Lloyd where he wasn't looking at the ball. But I mean, that one, I can see why the ref missed it, because the ball had gone. But August Prisk, he's come in and he's elbowed him in the head. And if that was me, I would have taken a month off. But Lloyd just got up and carried on.
Yeah, he's a warrior, isn't he? I think I saw it in real time, but obviously I'm down the other end, so I couldn't really see it in clear vision. But yeah, it looked a bit nasty, and he got booked for it, I think. And so I don't know if anything retrospectively can be done. But it seems like Jonesy gets some sort of knock every week. But I suppose if you put yourself in the firing line and heading balls, cars, and aeroplanes, if that's what he loves doing, you're going to get some knocks every now and again. But luckily, it wasn't anything, wasn't anything too badly, and it didn't keep him out like concussed or whatnot. But that's, as always, Jones just gets up and just cracks on with it, rolls his sleeves up, and that's why I think a lot of people love him. If you look at all previous player of the years, he may well win it this year, but if you look at all the previous ones, they're usually players that just get up, get on with it, and then just give 100%. And he's one of them. And I think he does lead by example. He's a great asset to this football club. But I don't know how old he is. How old is he?
So 31. Someone's put in the chat. That feels about right. I know he's beyond 30.
So I mean, that's the problem. Is if someone comes in who's in a lot better position than we are, it's probably going to be his last opportunity to do that. So that's the only thing I'm worried of in the summer. But I don't want to tempt fate.
No, well, I mean, maybe we have to. I mean, he signed new terms. When did he sign new terms? Sort of midway through last season. Maybe we'd have to think about upping him again if we want to keep him, because I wouldn't. there would be maybe clubs out there that would have, think one last sniff at him. He seems to be coming into his prime slightly later than some players do, but 30, 31 for a centre-half, that's not that unbelievable, really, is it, to be going into your prime? Not played Championship football other than 5 games for Luton before, which is incredible, as someone else mentioned in the chat a minute ago. Ethan says, I think Ramsey didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. One of the best games I've seen him play, and as Ben mentioned as well, Amari Bell, just doing what Amari Bell does. It terrifies me every time he does it, but he's so good at it. He very, very rarely gives the ball away. There was one funny moment at the start of yesterday's game. We got turned around, so we were shooting towards the covered end in the first half, which I hate it when that happens. It completely baffles me. But to the extent I'm so used to us shooting the other way in the first period that kickoff happened. I looked down at my laptop to type that kickoff has happened. I looked up, and the ball was rolling towards Amari Bell on the edge of the box outside the Jimmy Seed stand goal area. And I thought, what's he doing there? He's in 1-on-1. But and there was not a Birmingham man anywhere near him. I thought Amari Bell has gone up forward in the first 10 seconds. He's going to score. And it took me half a second to think, oh no, we're shooting the other way, aren't we? But yeah. One other mention as well for yesterday. Obviously, Will Mannion keeps his place in goal with Thomas Kaminski still out injured. And he has started a bit of a debate, hasn't he? Because I bet Ben's saying he's 31 in October for Lloyd Jones. There we go. So he's started a bit of a debate, hasn't he, Thomas Kaminski? Because the thing we loved most about Thomas Kaminski last season was how good he was collecting crosses and easing the pressure and actually not being afraid to come outside of his 6-yard box to do so. And yesterday, not with the frequency, because, I mean, in the playoff final at Wembley, he had to do it quite a lot. But yesterday, he came out and did it 2 or 3 times. And it just reminded you of when he's done that, like of when he did that at Wembley and how it takes the pressure off. And he's so good in the air, Ben. I mean, obviously, now we've highlighted it. It will drop one to someone on Wednesday night. But overall, it's a big difference. Like, you see it as a big difference that eases that pressure on the defence.
Oh, massively. And I think it's mad, isn't it? Because as football fans, if you were a neutral yesterday, and I think you said it, like, Birmingham just didn't look like scoring yesterday at all. But still, as a Charlton fan, you're then, in those last 10 minutes, any crosses that come into the box, you're just still nervous that something's going to happen and they're going to score and get a point that they didn't deserve. So you are getting nervous. And when you've got a goalkeeper like that you just know, as you said from last season, just his big arms come up and he claims it just massively takes the pressure off. It's just so good to have a keeper like that can be able to do that rather than on his line, not having that communication with his defence and doing some awkward punches away. So yeah, that is a massive part of Will's game that is big for us. And it's great to have 2 goalkeepers that are good, vying each other for that number 1 spot. And he's definitely increased the competition there, hasn't he? I mean, he's got his chance because Thomas is injured at the moment, and you wouldn't know there's been a change in goalkeeper. I know there's been questions about Kaminski, but I wouldn't say he's made some massive errors this season. Obviously, he's up there for clean sheets, but you must say, again, with that defence, you can't really say Will's having much to do, is he? Apart from these claimed crosses. He had 1 shot on target yesterday, which Douche's free kick was like straight at him. Not really getting much trouble, is he, in goal? And obviously at the start of the season when we were doing so well, Kaminski didn't have much to do either because the defence was playing so well. But as I said, yeah, it's great to have 2 keepers there, and that is a big quality of his, with being able to claim the crosses as he does. Massively takes the pressure off in that last bit. And obviously, I think, didn't he send Leeburn through down the other side with quick distribution as well? I think he's good at that as well. He's quite keen to get the ball away and get us going up the pitch. And yeah, he sent Miles through, and then Miles, I think, won a corner late on and just massively took the pressure off. But yeah, nice to have that competition, and yeah, 2 keepers now that will keep everyone with their opinions, thinking who should start ahead of who. But yeah, no, massive for us yesterday, and yeah, takes the pressure off at times.
Yeah, I like the way you said he had big arms. It's, you'd feel so safe if he hugged you, wouldn't you? But there we go. Ryan Mannion has to stay, says Gary. Chris says Mannion got us promoted with his Wembley performance, should be our number one all season. Ethan said he's solid, claims crosses, feels his kicking isn't quite as good though. Chris says Mannion did very well under pressure at corners, can't be dropped. Kaminski talks more, but he has the shirt. Yeah, no CO says Mannion gives other defenders more confidence, as does Fergie. Rustos says he's better than Kaminski, deals with crosses, comes off the line, makes good saves. He deserves to be number one. Lovely stuff. Right, let's hear what the Addicts boss Nathan Jones made of yesterday's win. This is my chat with him after the game against Birmingham. Nathan, congratulations, another massive win for your side.
Yeah, huge win. It was what we said when we spoke about it all week was just to back up the level of performance we had last week, because we should have won the game comfortably last week, but we did that. We backed up that level of performance against a really good side, a side that backed heavily in terms of side that won our league last year, and they're very, very difficult to play against. So I thought the level of performance was outstanding. And when you look at where we both were last year, and probably the gap that was between us in terms of the level of play, I think we've closed that gap considerably, and that's a good thing.
The way you were defending, it was only ever going to take one goal to win the game today, and it was a great striker's finish from Charlie Kelman.
It was, but I thought we had a load of good chances. Really, really. First half we were on top. We just couldn't find that little bit of quality when TC flashed it across and Harry Clark took a heavy touch and things like that were happening. But I thought we were in control, and then second half we've got in and broke down their right hand side and flash balls across, and a little bit more clinical finishing, and we win that 2 or 3. But look, every win's massive at this, in this league. Every win's massive at this stage of the season, and look, I felt it was thoroughly deserved.
It's nice to be in a position to be able to bring on someone like Charlie, who clearly knows where the goal is.
Well, yeah, but that's a squad. I mean, what were they bringing on? They're bringing on a level of quality, and everyone in the Championship brings on. We're playing catch up in that way. We've only had one window really to recruit for the Championship, and so we are constantly playing catch up in terms of that. But the group we got, they work hard. We suffered with injuries from last week, and we've had to adapt and adjust. But we followed last week's performance up with exactly the same level of performance. Probably didn't create as many clear-cut chances, but the outcome was excellent.
12th clean sheet of the season as well. They only had one shot on target, and it was a very comfortable save for Will Mannion from the free kick.
Who I thought was brilliant, by the way. He's reminiscent of the playoff final when he came, took everything, relieved pressure. But yeah, look, it's a massive win. It's a big win for us. We had to. Others had won. Others had picked up points, so we knew that we had to. And as I said, it's all about us getting to a points total that we're comfortable with, and then building from there. And this. This was an important win. 9 clear now with 10 left to go. How close do you feel you are? No, I don't think we're close. You won't feel close until it's mathematic. But as you said, that wasn't our goal. After 15 games, we're 3rd in the league, 4th in the league, 5th in the league, in terms of that, and we didn't expect to be in this position. This league is tough. It's relentless. We picked up injuries at the wrong time with some tough game. We had a real tough time, and now we're coming through that, and we have. And the performance levels have been good lately. We haven't lost many games. Could we win a few more? Yeah. Have we let ourselves down with 1 or 2 performances? Yes. But generally, we are fighting. We are competing at this level, and as I said, it's only our first year back. Just ask you about the challenge on Lloyd Jones that led to a yellow card in the first half. If you've had a chance to see it back, it wasn't just that. It was the 9 after it. I mean, I could not understand how their centre forward was allowed to not look at the ball and just jump straight into our centre half. I don't get that. And we kept on to the fourth official, and he said, he's not seeing anything in it. I got to be honest with you, I don't know the rules of football anymore. I genuinely do not know. I have no idea about the handball rule anyway. But what I see is clear fouls, easy fouls, clear fouls. They don't see, and then they give certain stuff when people go over. You only got to blow on someone's number on the back, and they fall over, and they get given a foul because the referee doesn't want any controversy. But there's stuff that was happening, and it was consistent. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. But hey, I can get myself in trouble when these are apparently better qualified than us to referee games and to do games. But I got to be honest, I was baffled by some of those decisions. In my opinion, he might not have been wrong, but in my opinion.
Particularly the first one, even without the ones that followed, could that be a straight red card for the challenge on Lloyd?
But if we're talking about is it a straight red card or a thing, so then it must be an orange. It must be in between or something. So then the 5 or 6 after, might not be 9, but the 5 or 6 after, because he consistently did it, like, and then he's allowed to get, and you know, I can't be too vociferous because I get booked. I mean, I get booked for everything, like literally everything, like. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do that. But I'm just baffled by some of the stuff. But let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about a win. Let's talk about clean sheet. Let's talk about the level of performance, under pressure in terms of wonderful. Let's not talk about that because we could be here all night.
Yeah, just on the 2 players who were missing today in Sichenze and Burke, and obviously Berry actually as well. How are they?
Yeah, just picked up muscular injuries, really tough. We try to manage. We have an excellent environment in terms of stuff. Sichenze is the unfortunate ones. Burke has had some problems this year, and we've got to get to the bottom of that. Berry hadn't played much and picked up something, and then Sichenze was a victim of circumstance like we've had. You know, he played 90 minutes. We pulled him out of the game for the West Brom game. Lloyd went down after 20 odd minutes. We had to play him. Pulled him back out. Burke went down after 11 minutes, so we had to play him. And then he picked up something from there because let's be honest, he's been at Serbia, been on a pre-season there. The intensity of the Championship, without being disrespectful to any other league, is considerably higher than a lot of European leagues. So we knew that he was at risk, but that's football and needs must, you know. If we had every full quarter and everyone was playing, then he would still be with us.
I know you won't want to put a number of weeks on it, but we're talking short or long or anything like that.
You know, let's see. We're taking it day by day. Until we can't push it because we're going to get re-injured, and the Championship's such a relentless league, and you know the travelling, the tempo of the game that you know your muscles sometimes don't have time to recover, and you see the schedule. I mean, someone, again, don't want to call them anything derogatory, puts us away at Middlesbrough at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, and then brings the 12:30 kickoff away at Oxford on a Saturday. I mean, only someone, I got an adjective, but I can't, is crazy, and they got no idea of what footballers go through in terms of that. But look, that's another thing again.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders, such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello fellow addicts, I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the River. See you soon.
Well, welcome back to Charlton Live on your Sunday morning. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Just before the break there, we heard from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones, who was very pleased with the performance and the clean sheet and lots of it, and then very unhappy with the referee. Well, I was just asking, Nath, just because I think it should have been a red card on Lloyd Jones. So I was curious as to what Nathan Jones said, and he was sort of more interested in the things that came after. But I thought it was I just went back. Did you think the original one should have been a red card? Because genuinely, out of curiosity, you don't like to see players putting in dangerous challenges on other players, on other professional players. But Nathan, didn't really want to get caught up in that but I mean, he was a bit rolled up by it, you could tell. And then he was also a little bit rolled up about the scheduling, which is coming up. So obviously we're going up to Middlesbrough on Wednesday night. So you're not getting back from Middlesbrough on either they stay over or they get back at something stupid like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then they have an early kickoff at Oxford, a day and a half later after the time they've got back. So it's a difficult one. He said he has an adjective in mind for the person who's come up with that, but didn't want to share it. I've invited people in the chat to share it. Normie says bellends, and Mark says knobs. Do you want to have a guess on what the adjective is? Peaceful says, what was the adjective? This is a family show, Louis. I mean, let's keep it cleanish, but have you got a preference?
An adjective for the scheduler?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's probably kids listening, isn't there? Probably, to be fair, so I probably can't say that. I'll do a Nathan. So I've got an adjective in mind. Let's go with the one with knobs with a K.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, let's not start that debate again. Jay said it was numpties as well. But yeah, Nathan, your reaction to Nathan Jones overall. I mean, he's really pleased with the level of performance. And I mean, if you look at since Millwall, we're talking about the reaction, right? 2 defeats in 8 now. You know, I put the graph out last night. We've been ticking over really nicely. And in that 8 games, we've won 3, drawn 3, and lost 2. I mean, that has kept us ticking over. And even with some of the sides below us picking up, not massively, but picking up the odd point here and there, you got to keep going. And we've done that. And like I say, we're basically there now.
Yeah, I think I know there was a little bit of discontent in terms of a few games where we weren't playing very well and it was not very great to watch, which I completely understand. Obviously, we want to go there, we want to go turn up, watch us win and watch us win well, like every football fan does. But I think deep down in our heart of hearts, we know what was coming this season. We knew we weren't going to be able to go out and spend a lot of money on proven championship players across the board. I know we've brought some in, but we've had to do it slowly. In comparison to likes of Wrexham and Birmingham. And I think, you know, we just need to go about our business, take each game as it comes. And that's on Wednesday at Middlesbrough. It's going to be a tricky game, but as everyone says, every game's tricky. You know, we play well in some games and don't get the points, but we play rubbish in others and we do get points. It's just the way football works. So I just think we just keep on the straight and narrow. We all know what we're going to see. And it's about getting to the. I think 2 more wins should be enough. I think for me, so that's what I'm focusing on, and then we'll have a little bit of relax. And who knows what after that? I mean, once it's mathematically possible, we're up. Maybe we do try something different. Maybe we do 4-3-3 and try putting TC out playing with wingers. I don't know. I just think until then, I think let's get to that number, and then we can experiment at the end. The last thing we want to do is go down sort of last 3 games where. The last time we was in here when Barnsley that's beat Brentford, I think it was. We just don't want anything like that. So get the points on the board, and then we can all sort of have a nice beer. We can watch the game. We play rubbish, play well, it's brilliant. You know, the pressure's off then. But until we get to that point, then yeah, we just got to keep on going next game.
Yeah, Alex says pretty sure that knobs and bellends are nouns rather than adjectives. So I guess we'd need like a stupid knob or something. You go for whatever you want to go for. It's up to you on that. I mean, the scheduling is tough for us, Ben, coming up over the next few days. But yeah, the situation we find ourselves in the table now. So I noticed some people sort of yesterday and earlier on today were sort of mentioning that when we ran through these sort of predictions on Thursday. And we were trying to be sort of like, I think, because we did say like we could win this game certainly, but we're trying to be we tried to put together like a realistic prediction, like a pessimistic prediction, to show that we don't even have to be absolutely flying to stay up. So we put yesterday down as a draw, but we've gone on and taken all 3 points, so it puts us in a much healthier position. And that's with Leicester and West Brom both taking good points yesterday from games we didn't think they would, away at Ipswich and away at Sheffield United. Like it goes to show that we will have to stay on it, because these other sides at some point are going to put up a bit of a fight. Like Leicester have got too much quality to be as bad as they have been all season. West Brom maybe not so much, but we'll see. Like there is still a little bit of work to do. Like I say, the 44 points we're on now won't be the full amount that you need to stay up. We will need some more than that.
Yeah, I just think now it takes the pressure off a little bit more. Like, and as fans, I think we're not like as so edgy every game and thinking, come on, this is a massive game, this one's a massive game. Just like I said, we've got Oxford next Saturday. We're not all as fans going, that's a massive game now, because we've got clear distance between the two. It doesn't mean it's not a big game for us to go on and get 3 points. Of course it is. And as Nath said, as the results keep happening this season, we might get to a stage where we can kind of then look ahead to next season and try different things out. But right now, I mean, I remember playing, I think it was November, early December, wasn't it, when we played Middlesbrough at home and they beat us. But we easily could have got something from that game. I remember Tanto missed a massive chance towards the end. And we've gone to teams lately who, I mean, Southampton, form-wise, are one of the best sides in this league at the moment. And we gone there, nicked a point the other week, and we seem to play well against the better sides in this league, apart from a team up in third that I'd rather not talk about at the moment. But we went to Coventry, played a good performance. We obviously got a draw against them at home. So, yeah, as fans, you don't want to say, oh, it's a free hit going into this game, because you want to win any game you can play. And we've proven ourselves against the bigger sides in this league that we've gone there and put in a good performance. But yeah, one thing we can do is it's not the pressure going into what we've had recently. We're playing against Portsmouth and playing against the Blackburn and West Brom games that we've had. We're actually going into this game now just kind of a little bit of pressure off. We can look at the other results and have a little laugh as the other teams aren't doing as good. And yeah, we're not expected to go there and get anything on Wednesday night, but who knows? We might have a few red cards. The ref might help us out again, as we've had previously. They're obviously playing today against QPR, and the pressure's all on them, isn't it? They're in such a good position in the league to get the top two. Want to go there and kind of just upset them a bit, put men behind the ball and maybe catch them on the break. But yeah, we're in such a good position now that pressure's off. We can kind of go to a game like that and look ahead to the Oxford game in a way, but also anything we can get will be massive from that game.
Well, look, as Luke says, a lot of teams down the bottom seem to be going away to the better teams and snatching a point recently. Why can't we? So like I said, both West Brom and Leicester did it yesterday. Middlesbrough have dropped points at home against Leicester and Oxford recently. I think drew both of those games. One of them was 0-0, one of them was 1-1. Like, we're more than capable of going away from home and putting in a good, like, to Southampton. It'll just be Southampton away again, putting that display, and we'll back ourselves to go up there and get a good point. You know, obviously we'll look ahead more to it later. Obviously, there are some question marks about whether it's worth letting Lloyd have the night off to avoid the 2-game ban, which will reset. If he got his 10th yellow card on Wednesday, he'll have a 2-game ban. But that number resets up to 15 after that match. So is it worth dropping him for 1 game to not lose him for 2 games when one of those games is Oxford away? I mean, there's lots of debates to be had there, but we'll look ahead more to it a little bit later. John, our resident Birmingham fan who joined us on Thursday's show, said earlier, massive congrats on the 3 points. Almost there regarding safety. Shocking game to watch, but as I said, we don't do well in ugly games, and they really didn't do well yesterday, Birmingham City. I did watch some of the vlogs from Birmingham fans yesterday. A couple of people mentioned them earlier on in the chat. There's one vlog, because I like looking at the opposition ones at the Valley, because I always just like to see what it looks like with our home fans celebrating from the away end. So I watched that. I just kept it running. And by the end of it, these blokes had bought an inflatable doll off the bloke. You know, the bloke who sells the scarves, the Colin Sechenje scarves and all those other ones outside the sort of northwest corner of the ground. If for some reason sells inflatable dolls as well now, and these blokes, it was quite funny. They bought one and then took it on like a trip throughout the rest of London on the rest of their day. It was very, very funny. But yeah, no, it was good to see John joining us in the chat there and being very humble after his side were beaten at the Valley yesterday. And they were beaten because this man scored the goal. Charlie Kelman, his 5th championship goal of the campaign. He came in for a chat with me after the game.
First of all, against Birmingham, how did you see the game today?
Yeah, as a group, obviously we're disappointed with, a couple of draws on our performances, and we knew today, obviously with the early kickoff and whatnot, that it was a must-win for us. And I thought the lads battled well. Obviously, our performance last week was good. We wanted to build on that. We knew Birmingham were going to try and impose their style, but I felt like we dealt with their problems, and we took the game to them, and got the goal that we needed, and held on and got the 3 points.
Yeah, so the way Charlton were defending today was only ever going to take the one goal, but had to get into the back of the net, and you must be really pleased with that finish.
Yeah, 100%. I said on the pitch, obviously I'm a very good instinctual finisher, but sometimes when I have the time to think, sometimes I can snatch, and that's just age. As a striker, you go through different stages, and I like them finishes. They're the best ones because they happen so quickly. You haven't got to think. So, no, I'm buzzing. I want to finish the season strong. I felt like I haven't given a proper account of myself this year. So I'm just trying to finish strong and really kick on next year.
Nathan was telling us how good you've been in training this week. Giving you a word of encouragement before you went out there today?
Yeah, I think on a personal level, I think the last couple of weeks I haven't really been at the races. The standards that I want to, and that's down to myself. Sometimes you've got to take accountability, and obviously I've really enjoyed my time here, and I really want to kick on. I really want to play. I want to be a part of it. This time of year is when football gets good. The business end of the season, and that's a great way to start. And hopefully I can really push on now and kick on. Yeah.
How hard is it as a striker to build up momentum when you're not starting games?
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Obviously I came back from injury and I hit a good run of form, and then came out the team and the boys were doing well. So sometimes you just got to buy your time, try and impact games when you can, and just try and find moments. Obviously, in Gaffer's teams, there's different chances that we're going to create, and I need to, I've been working on my movement in and around the box from set pieces, getting on knockdowns and trying to be on the move all the time. I think that's the biggest thing that I need to get into my game. So I'm pleased with today, and I'm just happy to be here.
It's 5th championship goal for you this season. I mean, did you have sort of like a target at the start of the season, like a number in mind you were hoping to get?
Yeah, double figures. That's always the thing. Double figures, and then kick on next year. Gaffer and the team have been very supportive, just working with me every day and really trying to improve. And it's been a bit of a disrupted season with pre-season and getting injured, but there's no excuse in football. No one looks at that, and it moves on quickly. So I just need to get my head down, keep working, and do the things I do today.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of competition for that second place alongside Lyndon Dykes at the moment. Is it, you just hoping that getting that goal will keep you in the manager's mind for the next start?
Like Gaffer's, this reason why Gaffer is what he is, and has had the career he's had. He makes the decisions. Today he said to me before they were doing the set pieces, and he came to me and said, "Look, it was a tough decision. I wanted to start you, but I feel like we're going to be. We need TC's speed on the counter, and I'm going to bring you and Joe off the bench, and that's what happened. And I guess that's why he gets paid to do what he does, and I get paid to do what I do. So I'm buzzing, and I'm just happy for the team. I felt like I've let the Gaffer and the staff down the past couple of weeks with how I've trained. I haven't been at it. I haven't completely effed it off, so to speak, but just not really been at the races myself. And I felt like today I was that, so hopefully I can get on.
How does that happen then over the last couple of weeks? Sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's clicking for you or something like that.
You're finishing, it's not clean. Just things aren't going your way, and then sometimes you're not playing, and you get frustrated, and just the little things. But it's just that's the life of a footballer. Everyone sees the Saturday and the Tuesdays and whatever, but it's a constant battle yourself, trying to fight off critics, trying to fight off yourself. And I think once you get through that, you get that little bit of high, and today I got that. So I'm buzzing.
9 points clear with 10 left to go. It feels like Charlton are really close to achieving the first aim of this season.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously we had such a great start that everyone was playoffs, but usually a team that comes up through the playoffs has to really, really fight, and we're doing that, and we've got a lot of quality, and boys have had a few injuries, but we've got a great squad, great group of players. We feel like we can really kick on towards the end and see where we end up.
Obviously everyone wants to have a really good second half of the season with the summer in mind as well.
In what sense?
In terms of the America squad? Yeah.
Obviously we've got 3 more games now until the next squad gets announced. Hopefully I can kick in that, but that's not my aim. My aim's getting back into the team and scoring goals and enjoying football, being present and being focused.
There we go, Charlie Kelman speaking to me after yesterday's game. Sort of left a question in at the end there about, if you still got sort of eyes on trying to get into the USA squad for the summer and the World Cup, which is an aim for a couple of our players, is to be playing out there. I think Jamaica have still got a qualifier to go through. Obviously, Scotland have made it, so Lyndon will be hoping and expecting to be out there as well. But certainly something for him to aim for. But he will need to get more game time, I suggest, with us in order for that to happen. Naif, I think that's probably fair. I mean, I've noted the conversation going on in the chat earlier about I think you said it yourself recently, Naif, about who should start alongside Lyndon at this moment in time. I think there was some wider quotes from Nathan in the wider press conference yesterday about why he feels TC gives them something slightly different, which Charlie referenced there in terms of pace on the counter attack. But I mean, I think it goes without saying that Charlie Kelman is a much better finisher than Tyrese Campbell.
But without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. As you said, that's not the service to Tyrese Campbell. Tyrese Campbell has naturally been a winger all his life, and he played it through the middle last year in a lower league. He's having to step up and play against better quality. He does give us a different dimension, Tyrese, especially on the counter attack and in terms of how we can filter out and fan out to the left-hand side and try and drag people out of position, which creates space for others. But for me, I just think because when TC does drag someone out, you're needing someone to go beyond the midfield, like a Sonny Carey, to go in the gaps that he makes, and we don't really have enough of that other than Sonny Carey. So I think I like the fact of that. Lyndon's been brilliant since he's come in. And I just think a big man and a little man, so to speak, in the old school way, if we look at sort of Crouch and Defoe sort of era, I prefer that sort of balance, because then you can have someone who can short, can go in behind with the flick-ons, can work the channels, which Kelman can do. And obviously he has a good, he had a good scoring record last year, albeit in a lower league. It still shows he has the pedigree to do that. So for me, I was glad he was given his choice, given his chance yesterday, and I would start both of them. TC still can be an impact player and will play the odd game here and there, I think because he can do it. But for me, if we're playing our two best strikers, it has to be those two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wonder if Crouch and Defoe is the most extreme example ever of a big man, little man combination. What's the height difference between the big man, little man? What's the biggest one we've ever seen? That'd be interesting to find out. I mean, loads of people loving that interview there from Charlie Kelman. S says he's got a great attitude. Sai says fair play to him, humble interview, and it was honest as well. Really hope he has a great finish to the season for him and us. Jay says Mr. TC Kelman. Link up top like we had at the start of the season when we pressed teams for 70 minutes, but Dykes Kelman has to start for him going forward. Chris says it proves a lot of the stuff you see in the starting 11 is based on what Nathan's seen in training over the week, and we don't see that sort of stuff. That's why sometimes Nathan used to get quite frustrated, didn't he, last season, about players who weren't playing and people demanding why they should be playing, but training, we aren't there 5 days a week watching the training. Luke says, love the way he talked. Richard said it was a good team performance against Blues. Let's hope that Charlie gets more playing time. He is a championship player, in his opinion. Yeah, loads of people having a look at that. Right, Middlesbrough, I should say, on Wednesday night. Robert's asking if we take a loss against them to beat Oxford. Do you see the game as a free hit? I mean, if we were only going to win one and we were going to lose one, then yeah, you do that, I guess. And I mean, it's a tough game. You don't go up there with massive expectation, Ben. But as we've alluded to earlier, teams in the Championship can go and take points off good teams away from home. They can go and beat good teams away from home. We beat Ipswich 3-0 earlier on in the season. You may remember. Like, it's not a complete write-off. We can go up there and get something, definitely.
We definitely can. I mean, Oxford just did. They got a 0-0 with them. Watched their game against Birmingham on Monday night. And, I mean, the two goals that Target scored, I mean, he's a left-back. Never gets forward to score. He's just left in acres of space. And you're like, what on earth is happening with this defence here? Just done the same thing twice. So I think that was down to more poor defending from Birmingham more than you would say Middlesbrough, an excellent side. I mean, I think they class their football as hellball because of their manager. So they do like to attack. They do like to have shots, but we know how good we are at defending them. I don't know if I'd rest Lloyd so that he doesn't miss his 2 games for us because he's so vital in that defence. We don't want another Southampton game where we concede so many goals in the matter of minutes and then we start to panic. But I'm sure we won't. But yeah, I'm sure Lloyd will play. I mean, look, yesterday he's got whacked by this guy. That didn't then prompt him to give him a whack back and get a yellow card. He manages to play the game and staved off getting a yellow card at all. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's one that you're not going to be on the edge of your seat. You're not going to be, come on, we really need to get something from this. I mean, the other week when we went 1-0 down to West Brom, you're kind of thinking, oh, no, come on, please don't let this be like the Portsmouth game where we've no turn up in a battle like this. And then we then went and nicked a point from them when we didn't play very well. But, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the game. That if you're going to be playing against these sides that are right up there, you want to play against the best sides in the league. And I would kind of like to see Kelman start now. I mean, as the guy said there, it was a really nice interview, really open, humble interview where he just kind of said, look, I've not been good enough lately. A little bit of confidence. You kind of want to turn that up now and say, come on, you and Lyndon up front. Let's see how it goes. But then obviously you do miss TC carrying us up the pitch sometimes, and it doesn't seem big in the game, does it? Something you kind of forget about it. But just even when he takes us up a little bit and we get a throw, it just relieves the pressure. And we'll probably need to relieve the pressure a bit, won't we, on Wednesday? Because we are going to get penned in from them. We are going to have lots of shots against us, etc. Because they're that kind of side and they want to get promoted to the Premier League. But I'm sure Nathan will get it right. He has done recently in lineups, but it's nice to have that confidence of players coming off the bench now. As I said, I thought Miles played well yesterday as well. But no, we can all do a little scouting mission. There's not much else great football on today. 4:30, bit of Sky Sports QPR Boro, and we can work out how we can exploit them.
Lovely stuff. Well, I'm sure Nathan Jones will be doing that. He hasn't delegated that to you, Ben, so you don't feel like you have to. But yeah, excellent stuff. Right, we did have an email from Peaceful. Says, did I hear right? The fans were singing Tottenham away, Allay Allay at yesterday's game. If not, can we sing it at the next match? Yeah, I think they were singing If You're All Going Tottenham, Clap Your Hands or something like that. Which is one to look forward to for next season. That's like Lincoln are coming up as well. So Tottenham and Lincoln in our division next season, as it may well end up being the case. Not as it stands. I think it's West Ham as it stands. But yeah, one to look forward to for next year. Lovely stuff. Right, let's leave it there. We've run out of time on this morning's Charlton Live. Massive thanks to all of you who've joined us live in the chat or caught up after the event as well on YouTube or via the podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe on both of those platforms so you never miss another show. Check out our merch store as well, charltonlive.etsy.com, if you want to grab yourself a Charlton Live mug. For now, Nath and Ben, thanks for your time this morning.
Cheers, lads. Big safe, be lucky.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, Danny boy.
There we go. Lovely stuff. That's always a pleasure to have those two on with us. So I'm Louis Mendez. Don't forget, we're going to be back on Thursday night. We'll be looking back at the Middlesbrough game on Wednesday. I'll be up there. We'll be doing full comms on Radio London if you want to join us on the digital for that one. But if not, we'll see you on Thursday to look back at the Middlesbrough game and ahead to Oxford on the following Saturday. Another big game for us as well. So thanks for your time this morning. I'm Louis Mendez. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We'll see you again on Thursday. Charlton Live.